And may God's grace and mercy be with us all. Amen. Today I've come to tell you the good news of the gospel of truth, the truth of salvation, and the truth of the way. I came face to face with the truth that I was not at home in the French classroom. It's an intensive course. The professor was kind, she was gentle, she had wit and charm. She and I spoke on a regular basis. Long story short, today, the chair of the French department told me in blatant honesty that she thought I should drop the class. I was crushed, and yet I agreed. Onto the Oval Mall I walked and cried. I had wanted to succeed. Just like the human body rejects sickness, my brain was rejecting the systematic approach, the pedagogy. I was waking up. I woke up. Like The Matrix, the pop thriller, philosophy on film, I found myself sitting in a pile of goo, awake. And I'm now able, 3 or 4, why not be honest, 7 years later, I'm now able to say that my journey, the renewal of my mind, seeking the truth, would set me free. I didn't realize that that would consist in a great deal of pain. Emotional pain, physical pain, depression, anxiety. It did. I'm suffering now from, some might call it a broken heart or a broken spirit, because I was living in a dream. My friend Katie asked me, prove to me that God exists, and I said right out, I can't. Well then, we have no argument, do we? Reductive materialism. We, human beings, are more or less fabulously evolved germs. Live my life 1 week as an atheist. There's not many things in life I'd like to go back and repeat, but that time, that transition, that one moment when I realized that I could live my life as an experiment and let the feelings of morality, ethical control be lifted from my worldview temporarily, that would be a brief time I'd like to live again. Mostly because of the sensual experiences, potency that came at that brief time. But let us now return to today. Today, 11 days before the anniversary of France's Revolution Day, Bastille Day. But on this day, July 3rd, I recognized that I was no longer going to be attending French. I was upset. I spoke to my father. I'm not sure that was really a good idea. I took a walk to the bookstore, the new bookstore. I browsed briefly. I found a paper from England, and the title caught me. We will build more prisons. The Prime Minister proposes to do what has been needed for years. Can we trust him with the job of building more prisons? It's interesting that this story is juxtaposed on the page to a story about a cat. T.S. Eliot once said, "What have we if we have not life in community?" And the thickness of reality, the mesh, I felt as though I wasn't alone. I was not an independent, unattached being, that rather I was on a full matrix, full planum field. My life was being interacted with through the words of a French professor. That really began my journey into the mystical, the occult, the philosophical, the religious. I had no idea at the time what the heck he was really talking about. I wonder what Foucault would say. What words would utter his mouth if he saw expose of the violence going on in prisons? And so I thought to myself when I saw the paper, we will build more prisons. How do I feel about that? Should I be happy? Hooray! Prisons! Or should I be upset? Feeling sorry for myself, I looked at the travel section. It would be nice to go to Utah, Wyoming, Colorado, where I was free, where I could be free. Was I saying that I had to get up and go to Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, where the big sky is above? Did I have to go there? I can barely utter it here in mid-Ohio. Am I a prisoner? Am I a prisoner in mid-Ohio? It was a depressing thought. I couldn't find a trash can, but there were plenty of books in that Barnes & Noble, and I passed on my way to a chair I could see at the end on Buddhism. and Eastern religions, which include Taoism. And I picked up a few books. The first was The Myth of Freedom and the Way of Meditation. It sparked my attention because I was recalling from my journey our discussions about the Matrix and the freedom, waking up in the goo, rejecting the machine, Tibetan Buddhism. A pocket reader, $6.95. And then I picked up another, Zen. I don't know, something about these little books and their prices made me want to buy them. They felt good. They made me feel good about myself. I wanted to improve myself, be free, or at least understand more fully the myth of freedom. Be free where you are. The title alone spoke volumes. I didn't sit long because it was all coming together. You have one little section of the jigsaw puzzle fit together, another little section, and a third little section, and all of a sudden you start to find little connections, and one big chunk that's been worked out, it can connect to another big chunk and another chunk. Boom, 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 boom. It's an aha moment, an aha. Ah, I remember, I recall. Do I recollect, or am I discovering anew? And so I went downstairs and pulled up another book, one that I'd been meaning to buy. The Hero with a Thousand Faces by Joseph Campbell. Magnificent prose. Not one hero. The hero. Is he implying there were 1,000 heroes? There are 1,000 heroes? Well, in some senses, yes, of course. Yes, exactly. He's implying that. You too can be a hero. Yes. The myths that we have been told since our childhoods are equatable to the myths told by ancients long gone before us. There is a gene in our genetic code that makes us want, desire God, want and desire and need heroes most potently. We need not be afraid, for the hero is well known. The labyrinth has been well inspected. All we need do is follow the hero path. Henry David Thoreau. We need not be afraid, for the path is well known. The labyrinth is well traveled, and new and more liberal boundaries will establish themselves around and within you. And poverty will not be poverty, nor weakness weakness, nor loneliness loneliness. If you have built castles in the air, fear not, your work need not be lost. For that is where they should be. Now, put the foundations underneath them. That was the beginning. I woke up. My body and brain rejected the system. Got me in a lot of trouble. I didn't think of it then as waking up, but it was. I calmed down. I graduated from high school, studied more, learned more, read Foucault, kept going. I wanted to know the whole story, to be set free. I wanted my mind to be free. I have been set free. But it was not at all the freedom I expected. The freedom of the mind was not nearly as glamorous or glitzy or comfortable or constantly moving and vibrating with activity and energy and distraction. No, it was actually quite lonely. The desert of the real. Wanted to go back to the machine, to the matrix, into the system, and stay there. Do you know, I have to admit, I too have yearned to lose my mind. In a sense. I've wanted to go back, know nothing, and be blind again. Life could be a dream, if only all my precious plans would come true. Shaboom. Shaboom. Life could be a dream. Shaboom. Shaboom. Amen.